It's July 14th, 1881. The air in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, is thick, still, and suffocatingly hot. Inside a pitch-black bedroom, a figure moves silently. 2 gunshots shatter the darkness. When the smoke clears, a man lies on the floor, his life extinguished. The shooter, Sheriff Pat Garrett, claims his victim is the notorious outlaw, Billy the Kid. But there's a problem. Garrett admits he couldn't see the man's face in the dark. He says he recognized the outlaw's voice when he asked, "Who is it?" This single detail, a recognition based on sound, not sight, ignites a mystery that has burned for over 140 years. The official story is that Billy the Kid's reign of terror ended that night. But whispers began almost immediately. Whispers that the wrong man was buried in that grave, that the legendary gunslinger had cheated death one last time. Stick with me, because by the end of this investigation, we will examine a photograph that some experts believe proves Billy the Kid lived to be an old man. And you can decide for yourself if the legend truly ended in that dark room. To understand the weight of that night, you have to feel the dust of 1880s New Mexico. This wasn't just the Wild West of movies. It was a brutal, chaotic frontier. The Lincoln County War had torn the territory apart. It was a vicious conflict between rival merchant factions, and a young ranch hand named William H. Bonney got caught in the middle. After his employer was ambushed and lost his life, Bonney swore revenge. He wasn't a cold-blooded monster. He was a loyal kid on the wrong side of a power struggle who quickly learned that the only law that mattered was the one at the end of a pistol. This is where Pat Garrett enters the picture. He and Billy were once acquaintances, maybe even friends, sharing drinks in the same saloons. But when Garrett was elected sheriff of Lincoln County, he made a promise. He would bring Billy the Kid to justice. The public was terrified of the kid, fed a diet of sensationalist newspaper stories that painted him as a demon. But the reality was more complex. Many locals in the Hispanic community saw Billy as a hero, a defender of the common folk against corrupt cattle barons. He spoke fluent Spanish, attended their dances, and was known for his charm and loyalty. This duality is key. Was he a ruthless killer or a folk hero? The answer depended entirely on who you asked. So let's trace the official timeline leading to that fateful night. In December 1880, Garrett captured Billy the Kid at Stinking Springs. The kid was tried, convicted for the killing of a previous sheriff, and sentenced to hang. But on April 28, 1881, he pulled off his most daring feat. While imprisoned in the Lincoln County Courthouse, he managed to overpower 2 deputies, seize their weapons, and escape. Vanishing into the New Mexico landscape, the escape cemented his legend. He seemed invincible, always one step ahead. Garrett was humiliated. The pressure to recapture the kid was immense, not just from the law, but from the powerful political figures who wanted Billy silenced for good. The official account states that Garrett received a tip that Billy was hiding out near Fort Sumner, visiting his sweetheart, Paulita Maxwell. On that July night, Garrett and 2 deputies, John Poe and Kip McKinney, crept towards the Maxwell ranch house. Garrett left his deputies outside and slipped into the darkened bedroom of Pete Maxwell, the brother of Paulita. Here is where the narrative becomes clouded. Garrett claimed that as he questioned Maxwell, a figure entered the room. The man was holding a pistol and a butcher knife, having just gone to cut a piece of meat. In Spanish, the man asked, "Who is it?" Garrett, recognizing the voice as Billy's, fired twice. The first shot struck the kid above the heart. He fell, and the story was over. John Poe, one of the deputies, later wrote that he had serious doubts. He had never met Billy and couldn't identify the body. He noted that many of the locals who saw the body the next day also seemed uncertain, whispering amongst themselves. Upon closer inspection of the coroner's inquest report, we find more inconsistencies. The jury was composed almost entirely of Garrett's allies, and the entire proceeding was rushed. No one questioned Garrett's version of events. Why the hurry to bury the body in the base cemetery less than 24 hours later? It feels less like due process and more like a cover-up. Now, let's explore the psychology at play. Imagine you are Pat Garrett. Your reputation is on the line. You've cornered a man you believe to be a legendary fugitive in a dark room. You are terrified. Cognitive tunneling sets in your focus, narrows to the immediate threat. In that state, confirmation bias is powerful. You expect to find Billy the Kid, so every piece of sensory information, even a simple question in Spanish, is filtered through that expectation. Did Garrett hear Billy's voice? Or did he hear the voice he expected to hear? And what about the immense pressure from the Santa Fe ring? A powerful group of politicians and businessmen who ran New Mexico? They had every reason to want Billy gone. He knew too much about their corrupt dealings during the Lincoln County War. A dead Billy couldn't testify. This raises a chilling possibility. Was Garrett not just a lawman, but an unwilling executioner, sent to silence a threat under the guise of justice? His own life was likely in danger if he failed. He needed a body, anybody, to close the case. The story should end there, with a dusty grave marker. But it doesn't. For the next 70 years, men across the American Southwest claimed to be the real Billy the Kid. Most were dismissed as cranks. But one man stands out, Ollie Low Brushy Bill Roberts. In 1949, an elderly Roberts from Hico, Texas, sought a pardon from the governor of New Mexico, claiming he was Billy the Kid. He provided astonishingly accurate details about the Lincoln County War, facts that weren't public knowledge at the time. He described the layout of buildings that no longer existed, named people involved in secret cattle rustling schemes, and even showed scars he claimed were from wounds Billy the Kid was known to have sustained. His story was that Pat Garrett, perhaps out of some lingering friendship or a desire to avoid a showdown, shot and killed another man that night, a local named Billy Barlow, and allowed the real kid to escape. Brushy Bill's claim was investigated by a lawyer named William Morrison, who became convinced he was telling the truth. The governor, however, publicly humiliated Brushy Bill, who died of a heart attack just a month later. For decades, he was a historical footnote. But then came the photograph. In 1880, a single, authenticated tintype of Billy the Kid was made. For over a century, it was the only known image of him. But recently, a second photo has emerged, showing Billy and other members of the regulators playing croquet. This photo was authenticated in 2015. Now, here's the final piece of our puzzle. Forensic scientists have compared these authenticated photos of Billy the Kid with photos of old man Brushy Bill Roberts. Using facial recognition software and anthropological analysis, some experts have concluded there's a strong statistical match. The ear architecture, the chin, the eye placement, they align in ways that are difficult to dismiss as coincidence. So we are left with a profound question. Did Pat Garrett shoot Billy the Kid in that dark room, closing one of the most famous chapters of the Wild West? Or did he, under immense pressure, kill another man and allow the kid to vanish, only to re-emerge 70 years later as an old man in Texas seeking peace? The official story is tidy, but the evidence for a different truth keeps piling up. The files are never truly closed. To mark the evidence presented here, hit the like button. To add your own theory to the case file, drop it in the comments below. And to join us as we open the next cold case, make sure you are subscribed to our unit. The investigation never ends.